go.
How's it going, guys? Welcome to a special edition of our Dynasty Spotlight series. We touched on all the rookies before the draft, but now the fun happened. This weekend we had the NFL draft here in Cleveland, Ohio, and we got to the most exciting part. Got to see where these guys landed, and we get to break it down. So we're gonna kind of go back through every guy we hit on before, just do a quick show on each of them, and just kind of talk about where they got drafted, how we feel about them now, and of course where we see ourselves taking them in upcoming Masters rookie drafts. So
yeah, absolutely. And also, if you want any more in-depth kind of analysis, we've done videos on all these guys before, like Alec mentioned. So go back, give those a watch, and we kind of talked about where we would like them to end up. So now, like Alec said, they've been drafted. We know where they're at. So let's talk about where we see them. And we'll start today with Trevor Lawrence, the first pick in the draft, which wasn't really a surprise. We saw that coming.
Not a big surprise.
Yeah. So we'll just jump right into it. Al, what do you think about Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville?
You know, I like it, and he's one where you actually could go back and listen to our first show. We kind of knew then, he was going to land in Jacksonville. But, as we mentioned on that show, we do like the weapons they have. We like DJ Shark. We like Laviska Shenault a lot.
Added Marvin Jones.
Added Marvin Jones, a nice deep threat. We like, everything they're doing. And then also we'll get into Travis Etienne on a later show, but they added Travis Etienne. They also have James Robinson, so there really is a lot of talent around them on offense. Feel good about the landing spot. Really not a huge change for me since our last update.
Yeah, not really. This one again, we kind of saw it coming, so we just made our assumptions then. So this one's kind of straightforward.
Yeah.
I really like the spot. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to fit right in. Urban Meyer, maybe a little more college flavor in the offense and how they utilize guys. I think he's got a nice group of players around him, and I think it's going to be nice for him. Also an underrated offensive line, if I may, too, which helps overall.
One of the reasons why James Robinson was as prolific as he was last year.
Exactly. So a lot of things to like about Trevor Lawrence. Right now, do you think he's your QB1? I don't want to put the cart ahead of the horse here, but
just because of the safety fact, I feel like he's got by far the lowest floor.
Yeah.
So for that reason, I say yes. But I there's some guys we'll talk about later who I think you could make a case has a higher ceiling.
I agree.
And I've kind of always felt that way about those guys. But I think Lawrence definitely a very high ceiling and a very high floor as well. So for the safety factor of it, my QB1.
Fair enough. I think I agree with you for the same reasons there. So we'll move on to the next portion of the show, which is, where do we see him being taken? First, we'll start with just a rookie draft.
Yep.
So
Masters
Trevor
rookie
Lawrence,
draft. We assume one quarterback league. The scoring that we're all used to here at Masters Fantasy Football.
So where do you see him, Al?
That's
the question.
I've always kind of pressed the button on quarterbacks later. I don't love it when guys select quarterbacks in the first round of rookie drafts. However, I did it once with Kyler Murray, and I don't regret it at all. I got Kyler at the 1.4 a few years back and really have no regrets. But all that being said, especially because the talent, the other position groups this year, for me, I don't see myself taking them before the 1.6, but I think maybe 1.6 to 1.10. I think that's the sweet spot where I'd feel real comfortable. Don't see him lasting past that, but yeah.
Yeah, totally agree, actually. Anything second half of the first round is probably what I'm thinking. And honestly, what I feel like keeps him out of that upper top five-ish is the fact that there's a lot of other good quarterbacks in the draft that went to pretty good situations. And again, we'll kind of get into them later. But I agree with you there.
Sure.
End of the first round. So I guess we'll move on to the last portion of it, which would be fresh startup. And I guess might be hard to just tag them for a round.
Right. I was going to say, I like kind of comparing them to current quarterback.
Yeah,
me too. It's so hard to be sixth round of a startup. You don't know who's going to be there.
Right, yeah. No idea. So I guess which quarterback would we take him ahead of right now? Or what's the cutoff, so to speak?
So, I guess just kind of thinking at the top of my head, tier 1 dynasty quarterbacks, we got guys like Mahomes, Lamar Jackson still up there despite what some people think. We got Dak Prescott, Josh Allen type quarterbacks. I think he's after those guys, but kind of in that next tier. So, I think tier 1 is Mahomes to himself. Then I think tier 2 is actually really big. I forgot Kyler's name. Kyler might be my quarterback too altogether. So I think there's a big a big tier 2, and I kind of have him at like the top of my tier 3. Like Russell Wilson's a guy that I love, but because of age, I think I'd rather have Trevor Lawrence than Russell Wilson at this point. So for me, he's like the top of my tier 3 of quarterbacks, if that makes sense.
I totally agree. I think he's kind of underneath all those guys you mentioned, that upper echelon, the obvious top 5. Yeah. But then when it comes to guys like Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers, Matt Stafford, guys like that are around that like 8 to 12, 15-ish range, anyone in that area, I think you can make the argument that you take Lawrence over any of those guys in a fresh startup.
Yeah, and I would also argue, even a few of the guys right now I'd still take them over because we haven't seen it yet.
Right.
But, I'm thinking guys even like Josh Allen, like a Dak Prescott. I mean, from a college prospect standpoint, I mean, this guy had all the hype in the world. I don't think it's crazy unrealistic to think if he produces as a rookie, you'd rather have him than a Josh Allen who had some serious concerns just a couple years ago.
Right.
But Josh Allen was phenomenal last year, so
yeah, that's very fair. He could have he could be one season away from being like drafted in the top 3 among quarterbacks.
Right, exactly. So
just with his hype and everything involved.
It really is kind of almost a good buying opportunity because even though the hype's there, you still can kind of get him at a little bit of a discount. Talking about second half of the first round of a rookie draft, and if he turns out to be a Mahomes type player, I mean, there's
there's
I think
he's such a people have talked about him for so long, and he's got so much hype behind him that if he does have a good season this year, you're gonna have to pay a premium to get him.
Yeah. Anything else to add on the Trevor Lawrence update show?
I don't think so. Yeah. It seems pretty straightforward, just because we knew he was probably gonna end up here. So I think we hit it.
Yeah, I'm excited. All right, guys, thanks for listening. We're gonna hit you with plenty more of these. We got a lot of prospects to dive into, and we're super excited now that we know where everyone's at. Rookie drafts coming up.
Yeah,
plenty to be excited about.
Yeah, sign up for a Dynasty League, draft one of these guys.
Absolutely won't regret it. Thanks for listening, guys.
Thank you. Bang. Boom.